Somebody asked me, what do I think is the best opening? What do you think is the best opening? Play that. It's your taste and preference. How's that for a evasive answer? You want to play something you're comfortable with. Okay, let me get ICC back here. Okay, let's see what happens in this game. Okay, Nimsawindian. Excuse me, is that what we're going to have? Yep. Okay, so what's White going to do? Queen here, pawn here, knight here, pawn here, bishop g5. Quite a lot of choices. Queen here, the old classical approach. Okay, usually this pawn goes to d5, but Black often parts with his dark squared bishop in the Nimsawindian, and it's so putting his pawns on dark squares makes sense. They take up the defensive task of the missing bishop, and then your remaining bishop can maneuver around them. Having a pawn on d5 gets in the way of that bishop. So game's still book. Now, time to take.
Check.
Now, Black can play this followed by this. This is not a bad strategy. Black could also try to fianchetto the queen bishop to get control of e4. Let's see what Black does. Okay, he does kick. And he does play f5. Now, White can chase it out, but he's also taking away the best square for his knight. So this game is essentially even. Now, not too sure about that. Okay, why am I not sure about that? Although I'm not going to say it's a bad move. The reason the reason I'm not sure about it is it didn't develop anything for Black. I don't see the usefulness of having this check or the queen coming out to one of these squares this early. What I would like to see is a move like b6 and place the bishop on b7 and support the e4 knight. So we give you an example here. If here, we've got that knight supported, okay, and then we can support it further with this way. Let's just be economical and get our pieces developed as fast as we can, and get the king safe, and then we can think about a move like this, okay? So I think it happened a little early. Now, if it's theory and you know it, well, okay, I can't, I'm not a computer, I can't memorize every opening. Okay, now, so here I would have considered bringing the knight this way just to support the knight on e4. This, of course, is playable. And I would have considered bishop d3 by White just to threaten to win a pawn, make Black commit.
Check.
Okay, I didn't see that check ever going anywhere. How would I get out of check? How would I get out of check? I'd probably bring, well, no, you can't bring the knight here. You're going to drop something here. Let's see, bishop d2, I guess it is. Yep. Now, here, okay, you're getting back the bishop pair, but look at the rest of your position. So this is why this knight belonged here, so he can come into play this way. He has to take with the queen. You're going through some simplifications. He has to take with the queen because of counterplay down here on d4. And if your objective is to go down to an ending, you're playing drawish chess, and sometimes when you play for a draw, you get a loss.
Check.
You got to take with the king. Okay, so look what's happened. Queen and two minor pieces off, just like that. And there's not too much developed. So this guy is sitting at home with all kinds of stuff blocking its path. Okay? The game is still even. Okay, I like that. Get it off the light square, open up this. Now take with the pawn. Very good. Okay, so turnabouts for play, I would come up here and be ready to swing a rook over the d file soon. Okay, this doesn't help you, black. Okay, usually I see this in the early opening. Is this a threat by white? Like say we play my move. Is this a threat by white? No, it isn't. Now maybe we want to put the bishop here. We don't want the knight to chase us, but we don't have to put it on e6. So white's not going to play this move. Okay, white's going to do something like this. Now, is white threatening to penetrate anywhere? All these squares are covered. Okay, this one too. So if we really don't want that knight coming there, let's reinforce this pawn on d5. Because maybe white had a fork threat. Attacking two pawns. Let's see. I'm trying to prove white this wasn't a good move. Say white plays to double. And we just counter. Now, black has to develop the bishop over here because maybe he was afraid of this. But the game is essentially even. Black has most of his pawns on the opposite color of his bishop. So does white, but the game is essentially even. See, the problem with h6 is, like I say, number one, we don't know if white wants to play knight g5. Okay, you want to go this way. Oh, you're going to do this. Well, okay, let him do that. Let's just give up the. Let's let him take this and centralize the king. Since black is placing most of his pawns on the opposite color of white's bishop, black will have a good knight in the ensuing endgame. That's an alternative too. Okay. So h6 doesn't help, and this gives white some time maybe to go somewhere. Let's see. But right now, white's got more time than he started. And this is a natural move. Now, yeah, see, he wanted the bishop here. He didn't want to be pestered. Now, king e7, I would expect. Yep. And he's going to double. No, he came back. He didn't want to double. So, now black's h6 has worked. Okay, pose the d file, double. Now probably play rook d8. I mean, I can see this. Black's playing aggressive, but sometimes you don't want to advance your pawns. They could become weak in the ending, but they look pretty strong. But you probably don't want to play g4, and the reason you don't want to play g4 is because it'll put the pawn on the color of this bishop. Now that does surrender this square. There was no, I'm glad it's on a dark square, but there was no need for this. Now that's probably a mistake, although it does activate a place for this knight to go, or not activate clear. See, we're getting pawns on the color of our bishop. They're in the way. Now I'd probably bring this knight here. Okay, so a trade-off. You got a great square for the knight for making this bishop a little awkward. Game's still even. That puts another pawn on dark or light, unless you're planning to go here. Before we look at that, white could have played this. Now, it's true that this pawn is isolated, but so is this one. So let's see, can black take advantage? Maybe black can take advantage of this. The knight goes here at some point. The knight protects. So since black has these squares covered with his pieces, maybe go here with the idea of coming down here. Yeah, h4, the idea is to fix this But I don't know, you activate the rook, you lose this pawn. Maybe white gets it back. Or black gets it back, I should say. Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. It's tricky. So it's a double-edged move. You have to go through a lot of calculation on both sides before you even see this. Because now here, as a general rule, I've found, I've explained before, % captures seem to be the right choice almost every time. And here is no exception. Just on the front end, taking en passant weakens white's pawn on e3. Let's see what he does. No, he didn't. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, how you want to take back? Bishop or knight? You want to take with the knight? Now black is going to play here. Now here's the pressure on the weak e3 pawn. How do you plan to save that? I'll play rook e3. Okay, this pawn is a weakness. Now maybe black can't maneuver to win it right away, but now we have a pawn hanging over here. Let's see, let's back this up. I'm looking at taking, but see, here's the problem with this pawn on the light square. But yeah, we can go here, and or not yet. We have to punt. We have to play here, and we're back to some of these ideas that I was talking about earlier. White's trying to set up, fix this pawn on a light square. That's why this pawn shouldn't have come up to h5 a little earlier. So it could be that the pawn capture is correct. But now he decides he's going to give him a passed pawn. Okay. I don't get that. Now knight g4 looks good. But look at white's clock. We're move 26 and he has more time than he started. So if white loses this, he has himself to blame for not taking his time. Now we've got pressure here, but this bishop is a bad piece. It's going to take a while to get it activated, but we want to try to get b5 in at some point. Okay, now the king can come up and hold on to that. He's got a square here. I don't know. That knight's looking good. So he comes back to stop it.
Check.
Now if you take it, it gets tricky, very tricky. So he can take back with the pawn. I don't know. Let's see what happens. He goes there. So this knight's on a great square. What happens if you take this? That's what I want to know. Okay. It gets very tricky here. Now, here comes a check.
Check. Check.
I'm thinking this is even. Okay. So now black has this pressure on h2, but that's all he has. So the rooks are almost like they're not on the board. But they are on the board, and they're stopping the black king from running to the queen side. See, there's no hope for the king, the black king on the king side. He's not penetrating anywhere. So I think the game's about even. Let's see. Yeah, guess this is fine. Now he takes off the pressure. There's an annoying pin. Breaks the pin. More pressure. So suddenly the rook's roles got reversed. Blacks was tying whites down. Now whites is tying blacks down. Looks like this pawn's going to fall, but that puts the rook out of play. So, one of these pawns is going to fall. You need to get the rook down to the back rank. It's not that easy.
Check.
They're going to draw this game.
Check.
I think white can play this for a win. Let's see. Okay, well, draw's a respectable result. So one problem with King D6 is you're taking away the D file from oops, I meant to go to D7 with that arrow. You're taking away the D file from the rook. So rook takes. Let's just grab it. And let's see. I guess you can come back over here, but let's take this. I could do this. It looks like an ouch. So let's go this way. Now what's happening? White is ahead of pawn. His rook looks a little out of play. That's one of the prices of grabbing that A5 pawn. It did put the rook out of play. Let's see. Let's go here. Now we're going to take this with check.
Check.
This pawn is halted, but this is a threat. I don't know. Black's looking pretty good here. He's got his pawn back, and white's 3-1 majority on the queen side doesn't seem to be doing anything. The king is cut off. Well, the draw's a fine result. Both sides play some good moves, but I think black could have had an advantage. I think shoving that pawn up to h5 didn't really help. Okay, let me stop this one, and